A 16-year-old cancer patient named Hazel, who is forced by her parents to attend a support group, meets and falls in love with 17-year-old Augustus, an ex-basketball player and an amputee. This is my book review of The Fault in Our Stars. Before I read this book, the first time I ever saw the book was on the shelf of a bookstore a year and a half to 2 years ago, and I looked at the shelf, saw the book, and I was like, that's an interesting cover, maybe one day I'll read it. And then a month later, I saw it for the first time. I read the inside cover to read the plot, and I read the plot and I was like, that's really interesting, maybe one day I'll read it. And then I heard it was being made into a movie, and I was talking to my friends who had read the book, and they said, yeah, you should definitely read it, and I should warn you in advance, but it's going to be sad near the end. And I was like, okay. And I have to tell you guys that after reading The Fault in Our Stars, even though a part of it was sad, it was a fantastic read. The good points. The best thing about this book was the writing by John Green, who was the author of this book, and for those of you that don't know who he is one half of the Vlog Brothers on YouTube, and I didn't know that. But anyways, yeah, I thought that he did a terrific job of building the story and placing the characters within that story that he made, and I liked how he made me care very much for these characters. Because usually sometimes when you want to make me care very much about a character, you have to do a series of books. For example, The Hunger Games with Katniss, or Divergent series with Triss. But John Green made me care about Hazel within this book alone. And he also made me care about Augustus in the book as well. Another thing that I liked about the writing by John Green was his writing style, because you can tell that this is his own style. And I like it when he can differentiate between different authors who have well-known works, especially with the young adult genre, because there are a lot of books in the young adult genre, and to have your own kind of style to your young adult books is really good. Yeah, another reason why John Green's writing is good is because of the subject material in this book, which is the fact that it's about this cancer patient, and we get to see like the point of view of a cancer patient and what Hazel thinks about the world she's surrounded by and how people around her think of her, or at least how she thinks that the people around her think about her. And I liked how John Green progressed the story as it went along, and I liked how the characters developed throughout the story. I also liked how he had a different set of ideals for both Hazel and Augustus so that they could have conversations about their ideals throughout the book. I also liked how John Green put the many moments of comic relief throughout this book, because with the heavy subject material you would think that there would be like fewer comic relief moments, but I think there was a good amount of comic relief moments where it was like, you wouldn't suspect to have this amount of comic relief moments in this book, but John Green does it in a way where it's good. And not only was John Green really good with the comic relief moments in this book, I thought he was really good with the dramatic moments, because when they happened, it was like really tough to read it at some points. Another good point is that throughout this book there were a few surprises that I read and I was like, whoa. And I'll talk about those surprises later on in the spoiler section. And the final good point I have to say about this book is that the ending was written in a way by John Green where it sounds like it's open-ended, but in fact it's sort of like a closing to the book. And I mean, you can infer in some ways as to like where Hazel goes from this point at the ending, but it's really a closed ending and not open-ended in my opinion. Are there any bad points about the Fault in Our Stars book? I wouldn't say so, because there are very, 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 very nitpicky things that I didn't like about this book, and they're not enough to give a quarter deduction, so I have to say that my rating for The Fault in Our Stars, the book, is 4 out of 4 stars. But like I said at the beginning, I thought it was a fantastic read, even though there are like some heavy moments and a really sad moment. But other than that, I think you should definitely read it. And I think it's a 10 for young adult readers or for readers that read books in general. Alright, spoilers for the Fault in Our Stars book. If you haven't read this book yet, then I advise you to get over now because I'm giving you a fair warning right now. Spoilers. I mean, can't you read? I mean, spoilers, hey. So the first surprise in this book for me was when they go to meet the author, Peter Van Houten, in his house, and we find out that he's this alcoholic person that doesn't really want them there. Because before that, it seemed like when he was like giving the letters to Hazel, that he was this nice and kind person, but once they met him in flesh, like they found out that he was just this bum, and that he doesn't care what they want, even though they're cancer patients. The next surprise is when Augustus tells Hazel when they're in Amsterdam that he's getting his like tumors, like they're starting to grow back inside of him, and when I heard that, it was like, ugh, no, I do not like that at all. Because when the relationship was building in the book, I was like, yeah, this is a good couple right here. But when Augustus said that, I was like, no, why? And I knew from that moment that Augustus was gonna die in the book, and this goes to the next surprise, and it's a very small surprise, was that he didn't die at the end of the book. He died near the end, and I think, and I don't know if this is right, so comment down below if I'm wrong, but I believe it was like 50 to 60 pages before the end. So after he died, I was sort of wondering like how the rest of this space and the rest of the book was going to be filled. And I liked what John Green did with the rest of the book after Augustus died, because it left the book on a high note and on a really good note, even though Gus was a really likable character and he died. So that's my book review for The Fault in Our Stars. Hope you guys liked it, and other than that, that's it.